Good afternoon, Stampers. It's Debbie with Stamp It with Debbie, and I'm here today to show you a brand new stamp set from our catalog that will come out June 4th, and it is called Free as a Bird. And that's what you're seeing here are the projects we're going to make today. 3 projects, 2 cards, and a box. And so I just want to welcome you to my Facebook Live. If you'll give me just a minute to get set up, we'll get started in a few minutes. We'll give people a couple minutes to get on. I hope that your Wednesday is going well today. It's a little dreary here in Michigan today, but it's not snowing. I heard that it snowed a couple places. I can't remember where, but I saw that it snowed somewhere, and I was kind of surprised by that. It's kind of crazy for almost being June, but here we are. Okay. It's like we got a couple people on already. I don't know what is going on with my... I'm sure it's just me, but for some reason I can't see the comments when I... All right, give me just a minute. I'm going to try to get out of here and see if I can do this again. I appreciate your patience so much, and we'll get started in just a minute. Okay, there we go. I see the comments. Hopefully they'll just keep popping up. For some reason, they keep going away. So again, we are getting a new catalog in Stampin' Up! On June 4th, and there's lots and lots of new items. I haven't shared it before because we have so many great items from the other catalog, and sometimes as a demonstrator, those items, when they're new, we use them a lot and they kind of get put to the back of the shelf. And so then when I realized all the items that were retiring, I wanted to give them another little chance before they went away for good. So next week the new catalog comes out, and I just wanted to give you a heads up and show you one of the items. It's one of my favorite items. It was the first thing that was on my wish list. So we'll go ahead and get started. That is this stamp set here called Free as a Bird, and you can see all those really cute birds sitting on this branch here, and that is bundled with the Stitched Nested Labels dies. And I don't know if you can see, but there's stitching on the outside and the inside. So when you get to a card like this, I'll hold it up so you can see it. You have the stitching all the way around this inside edge. So it makes a really cute kind of little design there, and I'll be using these today. And then I'm going to put these projects aside for just one second because I want to show you I hope that you're going to love it as much as I do, the designer paper. So as always, our paper is 2-sided, so I'm just going to show you the first side. Here's a sampling of all of the papers. I'm so in love with them. But if by chance you don't like these bright kind of bird colors and feathers, you can take it to the other side, and there are all different designs over there. So this one's a striped one. This one has keys on it in case you can't see. This one has some doves on it, and this is some bird cages, and I don't really know what this one is. It kind of looks like bird feet to me, but I don't think that's what they intended it to be, but that's why I'm calling it bird feet. Bird feet designer paper. I love it. And that paper is called Bird Ballad, and that will all be available, like I said, on June 4th in this catalog. It's our brand new catalog, so in the coming weeks I'll be sharing lots and lots of new projects from this catalog, and I hope that you love them as much as I do. So let's go ahead and get started. And again, here are our 3 projects. We have 2 cards, and then this one is a little box, and the lid comes off. I thought it's a really cute size for treats or a little gift, so we'll be making that today too. So I think we're going to go ahead and start with this one, and again, I'm trying to keep it simple, a little simpler. I didn't stamp just on the card, but I just realized I didn't get to grab a piece of scrap paper. I didn't stamp the bird directly on the card, but it didn't take a whole lot of stamping on that stitched cutout there. So let's get started. Here's what we need. A piece of Daffodil Delight at 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and use my bone folder and just secure that edge really well. I'm going to use Daffodil Delight ink and this flower right here. And I'm just going to randomly stamp this flower all over the front. And the other one I realized I didn't quite have enough flowers to my liking, so that one I put a few more. And that's it for that part of the stamping. And I think while we're at it, we'll go ahead and stamp the bird. And that is using those stitch framelits that I showed you. And there's this one here, so we're going to stamp that. I'm going to stamp the green, "Thanks for being you." And I'm going to do that first so that I have to pull this over just a little. I'm hoping to get this straight. There we go. Just so I had enough room for the bird. And then I'm going to kind of center him off. Just hopefully I can get this and not. There we go. Perfect. And then the other thing that I want to do is I wanted to put a little greenery on there. So I'm going to use Old Olive ink. And I'm going to use this leaf and just kind of randomly do a couple leaves here and there. And that part's done. And then the next thing we need to do is just color our bird in with a couple markers. And I'm using the Stampin' Blends. If you wanted to, you could use the regular markers too. So for this one, I'm going to use Pumpkin Pie and color in his little beak here. And then I'm going to color the whole bird in light Daffodil Delight ink. Oh, I'm going to use the other end. One thing I did notice, and I don't know if you're in an area, I know when I was in Florida it was a little humid. If it is really humid, I know that the Stays On dries really fast, but the Memento doesn't dry quite as fast. And when I was in Florida, I am getting a little black smudging. So if you're in a humid area, I would try to stamp your image. Now this is red rubber, so you could have used Stays On, but then the trouble is the Stays On sometimes blends or smears with the blends. So what I did in Florida, if I used Memento ink, is I would just stamp and then let it dry for a little while, or take my heat gun and go over it just a little bit. So I want to add just a little bit of texture to this bird. I colored the whole thing in light Daffodil Delight. I'm going to take a little bit of the dark Daffodil Delight and just come back in here where I might have a little bit of shadow. So the stamp kind of defines that a little bit with these little markings right here. Then I'm going to take my light and go back over that and kind of just do little circles. And I'm going to just blend it back in there. And again, I am getting a little bit of smearing, but that's how you can resolve that issue, is just hit it up with your heat tool or let it sit for a couple minutes and let it dry. So now we have our piece here. I'm going to use one more brand new item, and this is a bundle in the catalog. And I forgot to look up the name, but this is linen thread, and it's bundled with this green baker's twine. So I'm going to use this baker's twine. And I'm just going to turn my bird over here. And I'm going to put 2 little strips of adhesive. And this is how I do when I do any kind of twine behind something. I grab it like this and I wrap it around my fingers, depending on how big the images that I have to go around. So I have it wrapped around, and now I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. And then I'm just going to pinch it in the middle. pinch it in the middle here, keep it around my fingers, pinch it in the middle. So I have it just like this. And then I'm going to set it down. And then that adhesive that you have on there will hold all the pieces together. So when you turn it over, you can kind of fan it out just a little bit and make them go different places, but they'll be all stuck in the back exactly where you want them to be. Now I'm going to cut this one off just a little. I kind of like when that end piece is going a little wonky, but you might not, so you could cut it off right down at the bottom. And then we're going to put a few dimensionals on here. I guess by a few I mean 6. I like to put them in the middle when I have a bigger image because I don't want it to kind of crush down in the middle when it's shipping in my envelope. So now we need to bring our card base back, and we're just going to put this right here in the middle. And that's it. This card is all done, and it's so cute. I love this bird, and I like the simplicity of the card, but it doesn't look like a simple card. It looks like you spend a lot of time on it. If you wanted a little more color, you could take your Stampin' Blends marker. I'm not saying that right. Your blender pen. That's what I mean. Your blender pen. I haven't used it in so long I can't remember. When this ink is wet, if you use your blender pen and color that in, and mine is put away right now where I'd grab it, it will bring color into those leaves from the ink that you stamped. So you can leave it plain or you can color it in a little bit. Let's move on to card number 2. And I'll grab my supplies real quick. And for this one, we're going to need, we cut this one the long way, so it's going to be 4 1/4 by 11. We need a piece of that beautiful designer paper, cut at 3 1/2 by 5. And then for this one, we're using that same stitched framelit, the bigger size. We need it big enough to get all these cute little birds on here. So we can go ahead and fold our piece of our card base in half. And then put adhesive on, because that piece is just going to go right on. Put it in the center of our card here. Whoops, hopefully put it straight. Mine is, there we go, a little bit crooked. Now we can go ahead and do our stamping. So for this one, we have this great big bird image with all the little birds. Stamp it right down in the center. Isn't that so cute? Do you guys like birds? Are you a bird kind of person? Flower? Do you like animal stamps, or are you mostly flowers? I'm kind of go with the flow. I like a lot of different things. But I sometimes get tired of florally type, but I really love this one a lot. All right, I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends markers one more time. Had to grab them all. I have quite a few. So I'm going to use Old Olive Light for the leaves. And I realized I probably should have a piece of paper under here because these will bleed through just a little bit. I'm going to have to do a little investigating because I colored the other bird yellow and I colored this blue, but I don't know another combination. I guess the paper had some little brown birds. If you can think of a color combination, leave me a comment because I definitely want to try it out just to see what different colors I could get. I'm sure if I Googled it, I'd find lots of images. I'm coloring their beak with one of my favorite colors. It's Dark Mango Melody. I'm going to color all the flowers in with Dark Petal Pink. They kind of remind me of the cherry blossoms. And now if you see the cherry blossoms, you know that sometimes they have the little bit of dark inside. So I'm using the light Flirty Flamingo, and I'm just going to color a little bit inside just to give it a little different color. And on these, I'm just going to color the edge. Then our flowers are all done. And then I am using light soft suede to color the branch here. Oops, I realized I forgot to color a leaf. I'll have to go back and get that one. And then we'll color our birds, and I'm going to use Light Pool Party for the birds. I guess Pacific Point might be a good, if we had a Pacific Point marker. I don't think that we do. We have a Balmy Blue. I guess the Balmy Blue might be good. I could try that one out for a little darker bluebird kind of thing. I think you could make these look like a chickadee, and I'll probably try that out sometime. If someone already said that, I apologize. I can't see the comments right now. So, all right, so we're done coloring. Now all we need to do is grab some more of our dimensionals. And actually, if truth be told, these two here in the middle don't really need to have the adhesive pulled off, because these other two outside ones are holding it in place. They're more just for like a cushion, so that your card doesn't, so it doesn't push down in the middle. Just make sure that the card is opening in the right direction. And then put that down. And then I'm actually going to open my card up. And I'm just going to stamp a little bird down here. I do like stamping on the inside, so I think that looks really cute. And then one more time, I'm going to use the baker's twine. I'll open up my card. Wrap it around. I'm just going to tie a little bow up here. And this is pretty thin. I like it because you can tie a really nice bow with it. It's not as thick as the regular white baker's twine. It's, oh, you know what? It's not baker's twine at all. It just dawned on me. It's linen thread. It's linen thread. So it gives a really nice knot to it, or tying to it. So there is, I'll move this over, our second card. So how cute is that? Oh, geez, I forgot to type the greeting on there. Hello. I don't think I'm going to try to do it. So I think what I'll do is go back later and try to stamp a little banner on there, because it really should be done because of that dimensional. So I goofed. That hello should have been there, or whatever greeting I wanted. So there's card number 2. Number 3 takes a little bit of scoring, so we'll need the scoreboard. So this is it. I originally had just the box like this, and I was going to put a handle on it, and I thought, well, that would be really cute, but how cute would it be if we made a little lid for it? And so that's what I did. So here's what we need for this. Quite a few pieces. I'm changing this one up a little bit. I'm going to use Daffodil Delight for this one. And we do need the scoreboard. I'm going to put those aside and grab my scoring tool. This piece right here is 7 inches by 11. And you're going to score on the short side at 2 and 5. Then you're going to turn it and score on the long side at 4.5 and 6.5. Okay, so that's for the actual box. Now, since I have the scoreboard out, I'm also going to do the lid. This piece for the lid is 4 by 5, and we're going to score 1 inch on all 4 sides. And then we'll be done with our scoring. I'm going to grab my paper snips here, and we just need to cut up. So we made a little row of squares here, a square, and a rectangle. We're going to cut up on these lines here. And we want to cut to the outside of the score line, and then just a little angle there that sometimes helps our box go together better. So cut on the outside, and then just cut up a little bit. We're going to flip it around. We're going to do the same exact thing on this side. So I don't know how many of you are out there, but if you would, leave me a comment, one item from the catalog that you've seen that's going to retire that you're going to miss the most. I'm having a hard time deciding. Just leave me a comment and let me know what's one item that you'll miss the most. I really, really love the Coffee Cafe. I like the cat stamps, but we have new ones, so I'm trying not to be too sad about those. But I really like the Coffee Cafe. It's just a fun set to have. So all right, on this piece here, so we're going to lay our box straight. This piece here, I'm going to go ahead and use the Tombow multi-purpose, and I'm going to put, I'm hoping I'm not sorry, this is just how I craft. I do both sides at once. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave it on the table. And I'll bring that side right up and hold it in place for just a minute. Bring this one. So what I'm doing is just bringing this side in to form the box, and then you just want to hold it so that it all stays together. And then that's what we need to do for this piece too. You could use tear and tape for this as well. And then go ahead and make sure that it's all lined up here, and just bring your box closed. And then I like to, when I'm doing this, go ahead and take my bone folder and just put it right here inside. Kind of go over all the marks, or all the score lines there. And now I think that we should put our designer paper on this piece. And so I'm going to tell you what we need for that. We need 2 pieces cut at 4 3/8 by 2 7/8, and 2 pieces cut at 4 3/8 by 1 7/8. And those are going to go all the way around. And I did use this different designer paper. The other one, I used the cute little birds, but this one I just used the flowers. So again, I'm going to use the multi-purpose adhesive, and that just seems to hold all the edges together really well. But if you wanted to use the tear and tape or another strong adhesive, you could. All right, so that's this side, and we're going to do this side here. And now we need to do the front and the back. I have been waiting and waiting to get my items from the new catalog out, but like I said, I just wanted to wait until I had played with the other things enough, because I knew that they were going to be retired. But these have been sitting in my office for a couple weeks now. It's been making me stir crazy, because all I wanted to do was get down and create with these. So I'm very happy to finally be able to do that. And these are actually my very first projects with this, so I can't wait to make some more and share with you. All right, so that part is done. We're going to set that aside for a minute, and now we're going to work on the lid. So we made little squares on each corner. We're going to cut up just like we did before, and this time we're going to take a little smidge off that outside corner. Turn it around, cut on the score line, take a little smidge off that corner. That just helps. You'll see when we're putting the box together or the lid together, if you need to tuck it in a little bit, it helps to tuck it in. Now we're going to go ahead and use our bone folder to burnish all the score lines here. And then I'm going to show you a trick that I sometimes like to do, and hoping this works out on camera okay. I'm going to go ahead and put my adhesive on the two sides. I'm going to put my box down. I'm going to actually put the bottom side of the box down. Hopefully this works. And I'm going to fold this, and I put my adhesive on the wrong side. Let me flip this upside down. All right, so I have my box sitting in the inside of the square. I'm going to bring the center tab down. This is not working out the way I had hoped. All right, we're going to put that one under there. Now we can tuck this one under. We're going to tuck that under and bring it down on the box, and you're kind of forming the lid right around the box, and then bring it secure once you have it formed around the box, okay? Now we're going to flip it over. And we're going to bring this one down and this one down. And now we can put some adhesive on there. This is just kind of an assurance that your lid is going to fit your box. So I put adhesive on these two tabs right here. I'm going to bring this top down and close it in. And so since it fits the bottom of the box, ideally it would also fit the top of our box. So I'm going to flip that over. There we go. And now all we need to do is put our designer paper on here, but we are going to, you can see on this one, I did a little stamping. So I'm going to bring back my flower stamp, and I'm going to bring back "Your friendship means the world to me." And I'm going to try to stamp this straight. Oh, it's a little crooked. That's okay. I'll do it on the back and see what happens. I'm trying not to put my head in there. Let me see. It's no good to see people's hair. This one might be crooked too. It is. All right, I'm going to go with the first one because it's the least crooked. I can't seem to get that one straight. So I'm going to use my Calypso Coral on this one and the hibiscus here, I guess it is. I'm just going to stamp a couple flowers just to give it a little color there. And then this is the piece that will go on the top of the box. Let me get my scrap out of the way there. Now you got to see my back crooked one that was even worse. All right, we're going to put this right on top. And then I have some pieces for around the edge here. These are cut at 1 7/8 by 7/8 wide, and these are, I'm sorry, this is 2 7/8 by 7/8. We need two of those, and this is 1 7/8 by 7/8. So we're just going to go ahead and put our adhesive on and go around the box and get those on. All right, just one more piece. Oop. And then our lid is good to go on. And then the last thing that I want to do is this little bow here. And that is a new ribbon, and that is in, it's called Textile Ribbon. And this is in mint macaron. So we'll just go ahead and tie a bow. And I forgot to say as we got going, if this is your first time visiting me on Facebook live, I really appreciate you stopping by. And if you've been here many times, I would like to say thank you for coming back. I did miss a couple weeks because of some things. It was just way too hectic going on and watching my granddaughter and doing some other family things. So I appreciate you coming back since I've been gone for a couple weeks. I do appreciate it. I'm just going to put a glue dot on the back of that bow and put it right here. And so there we go. Which one of these is your favorite? Do you like the birds or do you prefer the flowers? This one I did on Calypso Coral. This one I did on Daffodil Delight. I just wanted to have a variety because the paper has so many different colors. It would look real good with Pool Party also. And also Blushing Bride looks really good with that. So again, here are our projects. And I would like to let you know too, if you're local to me, I will be having a catalog kickoff at my home coming up very shortly. It's on Saturday. I'm looking at my date real quick because I forgot to write it down. I believe it's June 22nd. Yep, the 22nd. And it's going to be from 11 to 1. And the cost is $15, and I'm going to be putting out a event invite for that. Now, you can also get the event to go if you choose, and you would get a catalog and a couple other things, all the make and takes for that day. And then I always do a gift from the catalog for everyone. And you would just need to pay additional shipping for that class to go. So if you're finding me on YouTube here, because there is a replay, I hope that you will come over to my Facebook page at facebook.com/stampitwithdebbie. And if you're finding me on Facebook, I appreciate you watching me today, and I hope that you'll come back tomorrow to see what else I've been creating. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you at the catalog kickoff, and I hope that you will stay tuned for what else is in the annual catalog. You're going to love it. Have a great day.